viewed? Where can we see it? Where can we download it?
Okay. Well, for right now, you guys can definitely check our Facebook page, which is Facebook / Fat to Finish, I believe it is. Fat to Finish. Um, you could go ahead and check it out, and we will be posting all updates. Even the day of the Ragnar, we are planning on having live updates on where our runners are at. We'll be posting pictures. We hope to be, providing our future fans and current fans with, information on all of us. You can go to our website, which is fattofinish.com, where you can read about all of the runners and all of our weight loss journeys. And then, we run the race next week. And then as soon as we get back, we're going to start editing and hope to be festivaling it by late spring or so. So we'll definitely keep everybody posted. We're looking at probably, definitely digital releases, and then we'll see what else we get.
Festivaling it. Explain that to those of us who have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay. There's a lot of really great places that you'll premiere your film at or show your film at around the country. There's, the most popular one being Sundance, Tribeca Film Festival. We're looking at possibly Toronto Film Festival, and
something small.
Something small. But we're hoping to festival it, and I'm sure we will festival it. And basically, what it is, it gives people the opportunity to come see it before it's like officially released to the public. It helps buyers to come and see the film and decide whether or not like HBO Films wants to pick it up or some other kind of distribution method.
Excellent. Now, is there a way that we can track your team while you guys are out there? Down in Florida?
Probably the best way is really on our Facebook page. I'm not sure if Ragnar has a tracker, but we'll definitely look into that within the next couple of days, and we'll keep everybody posted on Facebook.
Excellent. And we're going to do a little bit of a disclosure here. Jennifer and I met each other in person in August up in Maine when I did the Rev 3 70.3 up there, and we stayed with one of your Ragnar teammates, Jen Small, so that's a little bit of a disclosure on how we kind of came about to getting this done, because you were up there filming, Jen,
Yep.
for this film, correct?
That's right. We came up to Maine because Jen, again, and just an incredible weight loss story, an incredible endurance athlete, someone, and again, I can't stress enough how important this whole blogging, endurance sport community has become to me. And Jen's just another, and Jason too. I met Jason because I followed his blog, and he followed my blog, and so Jen became a part of the team, and we went up to film her doing her Rev 3 triathlon, and it was an incredible experience and very inspirational.
It's excellent. And for anybody who's at home watching this or watches it later on our YouTube channel, you'll see me looking over to my right. I've got Twitter going, just seeing if there's any questions out there from anybody for Jennifer. So we were talking just before the show started a little bit about a new show that got picked up for you. Fill us in on the title, what we're going to be able to expect to see, and just give us all the information you can.
Okay, well, this is kind of an aside. It has nothing to do with running or anything, but we're really excited. And it's a show called Logheads, and it's going to air on the DIY network. And for our production company, Media Meld, it's our first official television show pickup. So we're really thrilled. The Logheads is this amazing family in Kentucky that build log cabin furnitures, and they build incredibly beautiful log cabin furniture. Their shop is called Rocky Top Furniture, and it's a family-owned business, and they're super generous and lovely people, and I think that people are going to really enjoy watching what they do in their craft.
Well, that's really exciting. I'm really happy for you. I remember we were talking probably about a year ago about when you first got this whole thing started, and good things have come about for you for sure. After Ragnar, what's next? Marathon, half marathon? I know you keep talking about Ironman, so we're going to have to we're gonna have to persuade you into getting into one of those real soon too.
I think so. I mean, listen, I am so attracted to triathlons. I have to definitely baby step. I can't, unlike I did with my marathons, which I never knew. Like, I was so green at running that I didn't know that there was a 5K when I started running, and I just signed up for a half marathon. I don't recommend that, but I did, and I'm kind of glad that I did that because it did force me to train. Like it wasn't something I could just kind of futz around with. But for triathlon, I think I'll start with like a sprint, But definitely someday when, you know, we're real moguls and I can afford like a coach and a real bike, maybe we'll work up to that level. I have a lot of material following you and Jen, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So I know where to start when I'm ready to start.
Try not to make the same mistakes we did.
Yeah, I'm learning from them. I mean, I got nothing, but I definitely want to put a couple of races on the schedule this year. I think I did like 6 or 7 half marathons in 2012. For 2013, I'd like to do at least that many half marathons. Again, I enjoy half marathons, keeps me training, but it doesn't take me away from my family for 100 hours a day. But I definitely want to do another full marathon because my one full marathon, I feel like it was a tough race, so I definitely want redemption on that.
Well, a marathon's not an easy distance, so you take some solace in that fact that that's never going to be an easy race. A marathon is definitely not.
It was a tough day, but it was still one of the best days of my life because win, lose, or draw, I feel like it was something that I finished it. I wasn't the fastest. I know that somebody finished after me, so it wasn't the absolute slowest. But I'm really proud of that. I mean, again, like, if you told 10 years ago me, who is, happy in her size 16 jeans and chain smoking cigarettes, I was ever going to, drive for 26 miles without bitching and moaning about it, I would have been impressed. So,
Well, I think that's the takeaway here is that at some point you had decided that you had had enough of the life you were leading and we're going to make a change. And yeah, you jumped right into the marathon distance, but you accomplished something that most people don't even think about doing. And you always hear, oh, I just get tired driving 26 miles, let alone running it. One of the other things I wanted to touch on with you is your change in your diet. You talked about chain smoking cigarettes, drinking tequila, and eating all the fast food. And slowly over time, and I can tell people that you have gone gluten-free. Explain the steps that you've taken to get to this point to realize that this is what you needed to do.
it's kind of crazy because it definitely did not happen overnight. It's definitely been baby steps, and as I get healthier, I want to get healthier. Do you know what I mean? So it has been like a gradual step, and it's funny because myself, like I would say probably most overweight people I know who've tried to lose weight and fail, it's because we buy into all the junky, crappy marketing out there. And I will tell you that was the #1 A supporter of crappy, junky food. And when I say crappy, junky food, I don't mean the obvious donuts and Big Macs. I mean, frozen diet meals. I mean, fake butter, zero butter spray. I mean, artificial sweeteners and fat-free pudding and, fat-free ice cream and fat-free cheese. I mean, I was the fat-free queen and I was still 190, 220 pounds, whatever I was. I haven't had real, at that point I hadn't had real butter probably in 15 years, or a real Coke. You know what I mean? Like when I was drinking soda, it was diet soda. I mean, I was very good at being like, oh, I can't imagine why I'm not losing weight. I eat really low fat. But it's all kind of, as I started to lose my weight, really when I started running is when the shift came in, because I started looking at food as fuel. And once you start to look at food as fuel, then you start to really do more research, and then you figure out, oh, fat-free pudding probably is not good for me. I mean, well, 0-calorie butter, I mean, what do you think that's made of? It's chemicals. So then I start to get ticked off because I was like, well, if I quit smoking not to die of cancer, and I lost all this weight not to die, now I'm going to die because I'm eating artificial sweeteners and fake butter and chemicals I can't pronounce. So it just became kind of common sense. And I started to move away from that and gravitate towards whole foods. and I still had tummy problems, and then I had to investigate and figured out I had gluten intolerance and whatever. I mean, that's a whole different ball of wax. But for me, cutting out gluten has really been another key to my puzzle. But again, it wasn't overnight. It was slow but sure, making changes. But now I like eating whole foods. It makes me feel good. When I on the road and I can't eat exactly the way I want to feel, I feel it immediately.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head with the word puzzle, because that's what it is. We're all putting together this puzzle of healthy eating. I mean, it seems almost every other week there's another report out that eggs are healthy, eggs aren't healthy. Dairy is healthy, dairy isn't healthy. I mean, you can drive yourself bananas, but it's a matter of figuring out how to put that all together to work for you. In terms of that, do you find yourself feeling restricted? In other words, okay, so you have a gluten intolerance, basically. So you've got to shop differently than somebody who doesn't have that gluten intolerance. So do you think and do you feel like you're restricted?
Sometimes. I mean, I'll be honest, like I am a convenience food person, and I used to be. So even though I shun it, there are days where I'm like, ugh, it would be so easy if I could just get a sandwich. You know what I mean? And not have to think about everything. But for the most part, it's kind of like the old saying, if you plan to fail, you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And if I have all the foods I need on hand, I'm fine because I know what I like to eat and I'm satisfied. But it's when I'm not on my game and I haven't grocery shopped in a few days and then I get hungry and then, if, just today at the office, they had cookies and I was like, oh, I could use a cookie, but I can't eat a cookie because then I'm sick for 3 days. So
Right.
I guess that's a good thing about having the gluten intolerance is it does help me like not eat stuff sometimes. I mean, I love some pancakes after a race. Like that used to be my race treat. I mean, it's not something I ate all the time, but I really loved my pancakes and now I have to go home and make them myself. It's annoying. It's more annoying to have health problems though. It's okay. It's okay.
You mentioned at the beginning of the show family.
Hmm.
So how has your family taken to the changes in your diet? Has it affected them in terms of are they eating what you're eating now, or are we looking at two separate dinners?
No, 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 no. My husband, God love him, has always been the type of guy that whatever I drive the food ship, so to speak, in the house. If I make crappy, yucky, fatty food, my husband's going to eat it and be like, "Thank you, that was delicious." If I make healthy, organic, delicious food, he's going to say, "Thank you, that was delicious." My husband, as long as I'm making something, it's pretty easy. You know what I mean? He's not a big quinoa fan. There's like certain things I have to kind of, all right, we'll have brown rice instead, but he's pretty good. He'll go with the flow and eat what I make. My son's a little bit tougher. He's a toddler. We're trying. We do the best we can. We know that, he's doing baby steps. He sees, I mean, the good thing is he sees what we eat. He sees, like, every time I come home, he sees me go for my sneakers. He's like, Mommy's going to go exercise. And it makes me really happy that my son will never know me as an overweight mom. You know what I mean? And even when I'm eating, like, he wants not the best food. We struggle with giving him better food. And that's one of the little fights in my family between my husband and I, because my husband's just like, well, we got to feed him something. And I'm like, well, if we don't give that to him, the hamburger side, he'll eventually eat. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
but that's a little bit, that's our struggle, and that's, I'm sure, struggles in many people's households. But when he sees what I'm eating, Ben, he'll come up and be like, Mommy, I want rice. I make brown rice and beans a lot. I want brown rice and beans, So I think that by us being examples, will ultimately be the best we can do, But it's not easy. I mean, they go to school and they come home, some kid had a party and they're sugared up, or they'll take them on a field trip and they'll take them to McDonald's. Like, there's times where it's just kind of like you feel so it's a challenge, and I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it's really hard to manage, and it's distressful. I'm a health blogger, and it's like I'm struggling with my child. And he's 5, and people are always like, well, he's only 5, but I'm like, you don't want to set up bad habits for life, I don't know.